2021 was a huge year for crypto, with Bitcoin printing up 60% and Ethereum a whopping up 350%. But that's not the whole story. Even in just the last month and a half, Bitcoin is now down 32% from its highs and Ethereum down 30%. Tim McCourt, we've talked for years about how institutional adoption is becoming a huge deal. I personally think that retail adoption is a big deal as well. What sort of trends are you seeing that would validate this?
2021 has been a great year for crypto at CME, and I think it's both. When we look at the advent of micro Bitcoin and micro Ether alongside the larger size contract, both institutional and individual participation continues to grow and is accelerating at the end of the year in 2021, and excited to see what happens here in 2022 as the question has evolved for investors and participants of should I be involved in crypto versus how much should I be involved in crypto, and that's quite exciting.
So Josh Lim, we used to talk about crypto as being an uncorrelated asset, and that was one of the things that was a good characteristic about it. That's changed a little bit. Now it has a positive correlation with risk assets. It seems to keep growing. Why is that? What is it supposed to be, and what correlations are supposed to be watching?
2021 is going to be very, very different from 2022, and we're seeing that in the nature of our counterparties that we see at my trading firm. One of the big things about 2021 is you saw a lot of correlation to big macro catalysts in crypto. A lot of firms were using those catalysts to position events like the April Coinbase listing, where Bitcoin went from 30 to 65K. And then in October, you saw the same thing as a lot of trading firms positioned for the CME futures ETF listing. We think 2022 is shaping up differently in the sense that a lot of firms already have allocations into crypto, and the nature of those firms are more sophisticated. You have macro trading firms that are taking tactical allocations into crypto, and you also have equity long-short firms that are looking at crypto as a complement to their tech portfolios. Both of those types of firms will use crypto and trade it in the same way that they would other risk assets. So correlations are going to creep higher.
Tim, we've been begging for a crypto ETF for a long time. One launched this year, and they use CME futures as an underlying in the ETFs. Is this a big validator for, one, the CME futures, and is this another big validation in the space itself?
Absolutely. So when we look at the advent of the futures-based ETF in the US here in 2021, that has certainly validated what we've known for a long time. And that is CME futures are at the center of price discovery and are an efficient means of transferring risk, but also enable market participants to do what they do well and structure products or create product innovations, whether it be ETFs, structured products using CME Group futures. So I think when we also look at what this means for the broader ecosystem, I think it also validates the interrelatedness and the growth versus growth nature of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. It's great to see an ETF come online. It's great for the futures. It's great for the market. And I'm really excited to see what 2022 has in store.
Story of 2021 was inflation. It was based on uber dovish Fed policy. It was based on a government that spent quite a bit. Those things are very 2021. 2022 is starting to look different. Could Bitcoin and crypto suffer because of it?
I think 2022 is seeing a lot more attention from crypto traders that had never really thought about the Fed before on what their inflation policy is going to look like going forward. And I think that the direct result of this is more attention into alternative investments in crypto that are outside of Bitcoin and ETH, which are going to be more correlated to the Fed policy path. So we're looking at investments into things like alternative layer one assets that can support DeFi activity. So things like Avalanche and Solana and Luna. And we're also seeing a lot of venture investment. In the tail end of 2021, we saw over $33 billion pour into the space from venture firms, and we're going to see a lot more going into 2022. All these things are going to seek out investments that are more convex and have potentially more upside than Bitcoin and Ethereum.
It still has been consistent that Bitcoin and Ethereum have been the big players. Now they're 60% of the total crypto market cap. The traders I talk to seem to be watching three things going forward. That's going to be the Fed, inflation, and the dollar, which is one, potential for government spending, and something that we haven't talked about is potential for regulation. Once we get a clearer picture on those, it's probably going to give us a clearer picture on where crypto goes.